where they asked me to breathe. I appreciate that so much. You're welcome. I have to tell you, well, before I even say that, so on to the gift. Come here for a second. So, teasing me is what came to mind as you presented me with golf club covers. Because if anybody ought to know what is involved with the presidency, it ought to be you. And you ought to know, when do I have time to put those golf covers together? So, I understand you were supposed to graduate. We'll see that. Anyway, this has gone through, these remarks have gone through numerous iterations. My children can attest as I've been in the office with the door closed and going through and going back and taking things out and putting things in. It's actually been one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. And not for the reasons probably that you might think. Standing in front of all of you is the easy part. I've done that before, and that doesn't bother me. However, you're going to hear in a minute the number of constituencies that I'm going to welcome that are represented here in this hall on this campus, and you know what that means. So, by virtue of what I am about to say, or not say, for that matter, I am going to probably offend somebody, somewhere out there, and whoever you are and wherever you are, I apologize in advance. I don't mean to overstate it, but the complexity of what we do as a higher education institution, it's rather complex. How about that for presidential service? The point is, as I was going through edits, I realized I couldn't include everything in the address. I couldn't present every challenge and then turn that into an opportunity. It just wasn't possible, particularly with the time frame that we were trying to keep. Because you know what? The more critical point is, when I am done, there are cookies and cake and more cookies out on the clock for all of us to enjoy. They are calling your name. So you get the idea. So with that, Mr. Chairman, members of our Board of Trustees, platform party, distinguished faculty, staff, students. Where are my students? I think we got students just about it. Yeah, let's break the ribbons for a second. Let me give you a hoot and holler from our students out there. Right. Thank you. I feel better. And I rest. Alumni, friends, parents, delegates from the Academy, representatives from the community and from the Commonwealth, families of past and present Juniata presidents, I'm grateful, and yes, I am very, very happy to be here with all of you as the 12th president of this great institution. I want to particularly welcome really important people at this time. Dr. Tom Keppel, I think I saw Tom over here. Please stand. His wife Pat were with us today. I believe I saw Pat somewhere. Tom and Pat led this institution for 15 transformational years. About double the tenure of an average college private president today. They did remarkable things, and it is an honor to have both of you here with us today. Also, before I continue, please allow me a moment to express my sincere appreciation and gratitude to all of you out there, and you know who you are, who have made this day and this week possible, including, this is important, gentlemen who designed and crafted and have since donated this podium to be used for the first time at this investor ceremony. This beautiful podium was made in 3.5 weeks. Dick Enders, where are you? Please stand up so we can stand up. discussion down that standing stone turned into this beautiful, beautiful podium. His father, Richard, and Dorothy, I believe it was made in their honor to give to this institution, this mace made by his uncle. So there is a tremendous connection up on the stage right now, and thank you so much, Dick. And thank you to all the other local businesses who have contributed to this week, to this day, through your support. We are proud, extremely proud to be a partner in this community here and after. Please know that Juniata will grow and prosper with you, and alongside the Huntington community as partners to strengthen the social and economic enterprise for our citizens. Others I need to thank include members of the Inauguration Committee. They, I can tell you, are very, very happy at this day as a Robert. Their names are in the program. Jennifer and I want to express our sincere appreciation to all. We can't thank you enough for your thoughtful and creative planning as you crafted a week mindful of expense, but yet representative of the excellence for which Juniata is known. Vice President for Advancement and Marketing, Gabe Welsh, who has led the presidential transition team and chairs the Senate Committee, is more gray because of me, if that is possible. Thank you, Gabe, for all of your efforts bringing us to today. Lori Scheidler in the room. I can't see through these lights, but Lori Scheidler, a member of the team, but the logistical magician who has made so many things happen. She's somewhere sweating out the next phase of this, which is the reception and then dinner. Thank you for all of your efforts, Lori. Members of Sodexo, our food service partner, our grounds, our facilities team, if you were out there and experienced campus as we came in here, you witnessed the beautiful aesthetics that is our campus. And that group right there worked so hard to make all of that possible. The choir. I'm an emotional mess, and they didn't help. That was fantastic. I don't know if Russ is in the room, if there's students. You inspired me. That was fantastic. Thank you very much for that. I want to thank, of course, all of the family and friends, some of who have traveled quite a distance to be with us today, including from the great state of Hawaii, where the distinguished Dr. Strays are, better known as Aunt Dolly, my aunt, who is representing the state of Hawaii. Thank you so much for traveling such a way. My father, my three sisters, brother, nieces, nephews, thank you so much for making it here. I think there are 14 siblings, plus one or two who have been a little bit busy, to try and make the struggle to get here, and arranging for what happens with all those children is a complicated matter. I appreciate your presence here today. Jennifer's two sisters are here with us as well. Thank you to both of them and your families. Thank you for being here. My mother-in-law, Marilyn. So here's what I thought. Jennifer and I were talking about this the other day. So you were with the kids, I believe, when Jennifer and I were here interviewing. So in many ways, this would not have been possible without your support as a babysitter and great caretaker. Thank you so much, Marilyn, for taking the time to come today. Dr. Tavio, Reverend Spain, thank you for taking the time to be here today and being a part of the ceremony. Your participation with me today is extremely meaningful. To my higher friends, board members, colleagues, including President Rob Huntington, it's so good to see each of you again. So good to have you on this campus and experiencing what I've been able to experience for the last 5 months. My wife and presidential partner, Jennifer, and our kids, Madison, Nicholas, and Natalie. Nick, you look very relaxed in that seat there. Set up a little bit. I was saying you're just kind of laid back, you're just enjoying and taking it in the moment. I'm glad you can relax there, son. This journey was made possible and has been made possible through your love, support, patience, understanding, and probably particularly your acceptance of the lifestyle that is college presidency. I acknowledge that schedule is tough. Please know and understand how much each of you mean to me. Thank you. I cried last night, I cried at lunch. I'm going to cry more. So let me share a moment of enjoyment to the students here that I've already called out. Thank you for being present and literally ripping my clothes off during storming of the arch. I am still limping. I'm digesting Advil daily. But I hope you all had a great time. In all seriousness, your passion for Juniata has shown me how blessed I am to be in the position I hold, and thank you for welcoming me into your space. Thank you for being your students. Finally, since the ceremony is also being streamed live, to Tiffin High, to Silver Room, to other places for the folks who wanted to watch it elsewhere who couldn't make it here today, I extend a warm welcome to all of you wherever you may be. And if you permit me a moment of broader thinking, I want to welcome our collective and individual histories into this room. None of us have arrived here without the support of others. We carry on what has come before us and remember those who have changed our lives for the better. This is the part where I try to go in or out, depending on my emotions. And relative to those who have come before us, my own example, in front of me here, I ask that as we plan this event, a seat be left open for my mother, Cynthia Troha. For she was sad. I vividly remember the day I called her to share the exciting news of my appointment here. As you might imagine, it was an enjoyable moment between the son and his mother. A few weeks later, she passed away. Unexpected. They acknowledged us much too soon. For those of you who knew my mother, she would have liked this story. She would have liked it. But I'm confident she's here with me. She is partying wherever she is right now. And she is with us, even if we cannot see her. And in her honor, in the memory of Jennifer's father, Jack Wright, who died 16 years ago of cancer too early in age as well. Jennifer and I have committed to endow the Juniata Scholarship in their honor. Both of them truly understood the value of education and the impact on its work. They don't know this and they don't know yet they're contributing to this endowment. But they aren't the only presence here today. This room has held generations of students, parents, faculty, and other guests. This is where freshman classes have been welcomed for decades. This is where the choir has sung, where alumni have gathered, where visiting artists have expanded our understanding of the world. They all live on today. Even Juniata's first teacher, Jacob Sochi's out there somewhere, probably frowning at what some of his political brethren would have found outrageously extravagant by standards of their day. But here we are, mingling with the voices and ideas of the past as we eagerly prepare for what lies ahead. I think of that to remind all of us here that what we celebrate today is not so much a change in leadership, but rather a continuity of community. Too often, unfortunately, new executives arrive to fractured campuses, financial difficulty, and ousted or absent president. When I arrived this summer, we thankfully had none of that. The Board of Trustees and the college community had prepared for this moment in significant ways. Last spring, for example, I was able to watch the Baylor oratorials via live stream in my kitchen in Tiffin, Ohio. The topic: what advice would you give the incoming president? As you might imagine, as I was perched in my kitchen with my kids and our family, I about turned and called Bob and said, no thank you. I mean, it was heavy. I mean, 7 students, I don't know how long the speeches were, but there was a lot of advice, let me just say that. One young man, senior secretary, gave me a memorable piece of advice. He said, Dr. Troha, do not change Juniata. Let Juniata change you. Is Seth in the room by any chance? Thank you, Seth, for the counsel, for the wonderful wisdom that you shared with me in that moment. As part of that transition, I also attended board meetings, took part in the Liberal Arts Symposium, which is an extraordinary display of student research and presentations over the course of nearly a week. Many of those weeks are displayed today and throughout the week. Finally, I had the honor of overlapping with Dr. Keppel for about 2 weeks before he officially retired. An act rarely seen today in presidential transitions. In many ways, this was here where all the bodies are buried Troha. That was the conversation for the most part, Tom. And the other piece was, I remember he looked at me somewhat cathartically as he handed over these files. He basically said, "Here you go." Thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate that. In all seriousness. Although fraught with the expected anxiety, this transition has given space for all of us, including me, and especially me, to reflect on where we are as an institution of higher learning in 2013. Without a doubt, we exist in one of the most competitive markets in the entire United States. We have a strong, very strong state flagship university, a competitive state system. Oh, let's not forget, Pennsylvania is home. Listen to this, to over 100 accredited private colleges and universities, many of which are ranked in the top 100 in the nation, like Juniata. With rising concern over price of student loan debt and the value of higher education in general, changing technology, challenging demographics, there's a sense of urgency, not just to maintain our quality, but continually get better. There are complex challenges to resolve in our world today, and it will require shared expertise across disciplines. To that end, the theme this week, the call to think, the courage to evolve, and the conviction to act, it resonates for several reasons for me. For one, it links the attributes we must possess today: calling, courage, conviction, with what has been for nearly 2 decades a palpable ethos that helps articulate the curricular and co-curricular environment and work on this campus. 3 simple words that you've probably seen everywhere: think, evolve, and act. I've come to learn it is not a tagline. It is a culture, and we live it out every day. I've already described a bit called to think. We must understand and acknowledge our position in the current marketplace of higher education, and as one of the 40 colleges that change lives, we must preserve and strengthen that which is distinctive about Juniata. You may have noticed in your invitations. In fact, I learned in reading Professor Earl Kaler's history of Juniata. At the time of the founding, brother colleges had a tendency to name their campuses for the towns in which they stood. Juniata's founders elected to do something a little bit different. And they named the college for the river that flowed nearby. For me, this is a compelling characteristic of our beginning. Our founders had in sight a farther horizon. We named ourselves for a future that brings the world to us and then sends us back out. Our engagement as a community with the world must do the same. And we have been recognized for our strength in doing so. Just last year, in fact, we were one of 5 schools. One of 5 schools nationally that were recognized for international character of our campus through the Senator Paul Simon Internationalization Award. There was Juniata, positioned right next to the University of Michigan. 5 schools, national. Just this summer, we also had students interning in 27 states, which is typical. We have achieved a student body in which more than 12% are from nations other than the United States. I welcomed 178 international students during orientation this fall. It was a beautiful thing. They add so much to our campus community. Overall, our student body is much more diverse in many measures than it was a decade ago, and it has strengthened our community in ways that are hard to describe. However, we are not done. We must continue to develop a student body, a faculty, a staff, and then, yes, our board of trustees that reflect the way the world now looks. We also must continue to be good stewards of our environment, something that Juniata has done exceedingly well over the years. Take Founder Hall, right across the quad. Originally constructed in 1879, and now an elite gold facility. Like Juniata, this building is more than what meets the eye. Underground, in front of and beside the Olympic Center is a well field that provides efficient heating and cooling and a 10,000-gallon tank that collects the rainwater from the building to be used for irrigation. There is cork flooring throughout, bamboo furniture, recycled fiber carpets, and remarkably, the roof looks like slate. It's actually made from recycled tires. As we look at other facilities in our future, new and renovated, we must consider similar sustainability measures. As we think and as we probe next steps to manage what we find, call it the courage to evolve. Caleb notes in his history is still popular saying about the conservatism of cows. No offense, faculty, before I say this. It is easier to move a cemetery than it is to change a curriculum. Have you heard that one before? And I know from my days in advancement and working with alumni that most alumni have their way. Colleges would have well-preserved kitchen posts and inkwells on all the desks. I understand the impulse. When a college is strong like Juniata and has a life-changing effect on individuals that has come to typify people's experiences here, it's reasonable to want to preserve what is good, to keep unchanged something that's been so successful. However, because we no longer have curfews for women, or required chapels, Reverend Bukowski, or because we now have a POE or a major in digital media today, we know well that change is before us. In fact, if nothing else, a liberal arts education, better than any other academic preparation, urges us to change, to become more comfortable with ambiguity. At a time when our culture appears to value vocational training over broad education, we must remember that the advancements in industry, science, art, medicine, and law happen when we confront what we don't know and find ways to proceed toward answers knowing what we may find is uncomfortable, complicated, and ambiguous. The capacity for critical thinking, clear, persuasive expression, contextual understanding, and empathy come from thoughtful work in multiple disciplines, in teams and groups of committed people, and in various settings. The liberal arts approach, whether adapted by a student toward emerging professional fields or steeped in the traditions of its bedrock disciplines, produces leaders because of its century-old orientation toward educating citizens for lives of purpose and contribution. While the aim of the liberal arts education has long remained the same, its particulars have changed over time. As we look toward Juniata's future, we must honor our own traditions, but possess the courage to evolve. Very shortly, this community will begin work on its next strategic plan. A process that will help launch us on an even greater trajectory and help us achieve the clarity we need to be more nimble, entrepreneurial, and purposeful in what we do and how we do it. President Keppel, in his inaugural address back in March of 1999, remarked that an institution can only accomplish what it is willing to dream. Ladies and gentlemen, now is our time. A new era is emerging, a new strategic plan in its very beginnings, and the time is now to define our future before that future defines us. We are finalizing the search for a new vice president for enrollment in the midst of a search for a new provost. We will invite new people, new ideas, and challenging new perspectives to join us. And I expect them to ask to do a few things differently. We want them. We need them. Make no mistake. As we vigorously confront our future, we need visible and authentic leadership at all ranks. The collaborative spirit and depth of transparency this community has enjoyed in the past, we will need it even more so in the future. It will be required for our success. Genuine communication, personal accountability, will nurture strong institutional decisions. And while I'm ultimately accountable for this culture, I'm asking that we collectively own these principles and live them daily. As our academic community evolves, we will become more global in our outlook, more technologically sophisticated in what we do and how we do it, varied in how we interrelate, perhaps even more physically distant at times than where we are now. We will work together in spaces that differ greatly from libraries and study lounges we know, or the classrooms and halls that are invoked in our alma mater. I joked about ditching posts and ink wells earlier, but they represent, albeit archaically, the pressures of technology we face, similar pressures today. As students arrive from high schools where they study in collaborative, virtual, team, and classroom environments, and will then leave Juniata to work in such environments, they expect their college experience to occur across a similar variety of learning spaces. For that reason, we will be challenged to conceive of our campus a little bit differently. A fact which has yet unknown ramifications for this space, this campus, and the global reach Juniata increasingly enjoys. In some ways, our founders, intentionally or not, were prophetic in naming us not for a single town, but for a body of water that reminds us that we are never static. Speaking of never static, I've spoken a great deal recently, last several months, about a collective effort toward personal wellness. When you consider that wellness has dimensions beyond the physical, that it touches the emotional, intellectual, spiritual, social, and occupational, our sense of campus also expands. When we talk about wellness, it is to engage and nurture that which is best within us. That puts our best out there for the benefit of our communities. For what we share, however it may evolve over years and decades, we will have the common thread that makes us Juniata College. With that in mind, and knowing the challenges we face together, we will together find the courage to evolve. And having faced these challenges together, and having watched our circumstances evolve within and around us, we should arrive at the conclusions with conviction. That's the third and final piece of this journey. It is the conviction to act. I've said a few times that no one arrives at Juniata by accident. We find that those who arrive here, students, faculty, staff, they seek us out. They're looking for something specific that we offer, whether it's POE, the unique beauty of central Pennsylvania, or the extraordinary working environment that is heralded each year in the Department of Higher Education's great colleges to work for. The result is a community of people focused on action, focused on results. Think of our forebears for a second. They acted with conviction that education was important enough to divide the mainstream of their faith. They established and later brought to this place a conviction that education founded in peacemaking, service, and community would instill values as well as practical knowledge. In 1970, a group of faculty decided to act with conviction to establish the POE, or Program of Emphasis, with the idea that students would work with the faculty to articulate and defend a vision for their own education and their own potential. Something so simple, yet often not replicated. In recent years, we decided that the research and creativity of our students was important enough to cancel classes for a day and collectively witness and discuss their works. These actions live with us, and the results are exceptional. We have before us a new set of challenges and conventional wisdoms. It is not passion to say that college may not be worth it. May not be worth the investment, and that a credential is all that matters, and you can get it just about anywhere. That future earnings are more important than intellectual curiosity, the ability to think, or question, or deal with ambiguity. We often hear rhetoric that we as a sector, higher education is failing. I stand before you to say that I unequivocally reject that notion that higher education is declining in value and efficacy, and I especially reject the notion if Juniata is part of that conversation. Our faculty has thought carefully about how to preserve the rigor and intensity of our academic programs, and we have worked diligently to ensure these same programs evolve over time to meet the demands of an ever-changing world. I challenge you to walk the campus and see what our students have accomplished. The posters from the Liberal Arts Symposium are scattered around campus, several public places. Read the most copy of our President's Report. Our students tell the story for us. We have made experiential learning, action, if you will, a central concern with what we do here, whether through internships, faculty-student research, study abroad, student teaching, service learning, or any other kind of service. As a result, 9 to 10 Juniata graduates earn their diplomas, having had significant work through such experiences. We must act not only to preserve that, but build on it, strengthen it. We will, of course, be planning for the resources required to continue this experiential learning, the development of our campus spaces, new international partnerships, and yes, financial resiliency. Those resources will come in part from the conviction of our alumni and friends to act on our behalf and invest in the efforts to strengthen Juniata and its students. For those students are the reason why we exist. As I mentioned earlier, overall personal wellness will and should demand our collective attention. Consequently, we must act to intensify our efforts with career and academic support, counseling services, spiritual awareness, recreational activity, and a strong and competitive athletics program. The recently retired Provost Jim Laxo, who is here with us today, was fond of mentioning that Juniata was, according to results of the National Survey of Student Engagement, among the most academically challenging and academically supportive environments in the entire nation. Very few schools and colleges can claim both, and it takes conviction to create that environment for every student every year. And that conviction starts with our faculty, and we have one of the best in the nation. Creative, student-centered, relationship-oriented, and passionate. The Juniata faculty are the rock upon which all else will be built. Their actions, their contributions to the community, their work in the classrooms, and other learning environments determine who we are and who we come to be. We must create a place where they have resources to do what they have been called to do, and that is to change lives. Case in point, class of 1970 graduate, Bill Phillips, the Nobel Prize winner in physics. Learning of his award, Bill was quoted in the Altoona Mirror saying, "I learned a lot of intangibles there. I learned about growing up and becoming a complete individual. Juniata produces good scientists, but it also produces good people. Faculty, thank you for your uncommon commitment to support those students who choose us. You deserve our collective thanks and appreciation." So my final call is this. We need to think. Yes, of course. And of course, we need to evolve. And when the time comes, we need to act with conviction, with uncommon strength, compassion, and boldness. And we will do this together. And we will do it together in an environment built on trust, respect, collegiality. These enduring and transcendent values still matter at Juniata. It is why I am here. It is why we are all here. So on this beautiful, spectacular fall October day, 2013, I am inspired by your presence. I want to thank you for sharing in this extraordinary moment of community that is Juniata College. Thank you so much for being here. Godspeed.
I invite you, as you will now, to pray with me. God of our past, our present, our future, you are the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega for us. All things have been created through you and by you. And so we give you thanks for all that has brought us to this time and place on this day, for administrations that have navigated this vehicle of education for so many years. We thank you for teachers who have refined the art of teaching and have impacted the hearts, minds, and souls of so many students over the years. We thank you for the students themselves who have walked this campus for so long, and over the years have continued to call Juniata College a pivotal place in their learning. Surely you have been here all along for each one. And so now today we ask your Spirit to dwell upon your servant James. Give to him the tools that he will need, your sense of compassion, integrity, resolve, and vision. May he who leads do so with justice, kindness, and humility. May those who count on and follow his leadership do so with eagerness and responsiveness. Grant that this may be for us a day of great celebration and rededication of our common task for the common good. In your name we pray, the God of all of our beginnings and all of our endings.